Good morning, and welcome to our February 2020 customer webinar. Today our topic is email. Email may not be the hot new thing, but everyone uses it. It's free, easy, and allows subscribers to sign up for only what interests them. And it's pretty much a requirement for online life, giving you the ability to reach nearly 100% of your potential audience. But inbox real estate is a privilege. When you earn a spot in a visitor's inbox, it's critical that every campaign you send delivers real value. The dreaded unsubscribe is only a click away. Today, Tim Turner is going to show you how our team of email experts can put proven industry best practices to work for your organization. We'll optimize your acquisition, retention, delivery, and advertising strategies to ensure that you're meeting or beating the benchmarks set by the highest performing organizations in local media. Best of all, this new service is free. Can we say this is an early Valentine's gift to our customers? I think I just did. Tim Turner, our Director of Content and Data Services, is going to walk you through our new email optimization service. I'm Aaron Gillette, Marketing Director at Town News. The presentation will take about 30 minutes and will be followed by a Q&A. Please type any questions into the chat box and we'll answer them at the end. We're recording this webinar and we'll share the link with everyone when it's available on our website. With that, I'm going to pass it off to Tim.
All right, thanks Aaron for the intro, minus the joke. Today we wanted to just take an opportunity to talk a little bit about email and all the work we've done over the past few years, helping customers optimize their email acquisition and usage strategies. And one of the things we've been talking about internally at Town News is, okay, well, we know we have these best practices that our customers can implement. What's the next step? And we put together a program that we wanted to scale out to all of our customers that allows us to kind of implement a turnkey strategy on pretty much all of your domains that allows you to quickly optimize your email and kind of jumpstart what you're doing right now. So talking a little bit about why email is important. From the consumer standpoint, email is really easy to use. It's something everybody's been using for a really long time. They're familiar with it and how it functions. They don't have to learn some new interface or new method of how to access the content or to get it. Another thing that email is as you implement more email newsletters, the content can be specific to that user's interest. So it's like they're getting a curated list of news specific to their interest every single day in their inbox. One of the things that we've been combating a lot in this industry is trust and verification of sources. Email is a great way for consumers to get news directly from you, straight from the source of news organizations that they trust. And we also love email because it's already a part, like I said, of everybody's routine that they implement every single day. For you as an organization, as you continue to build out your audience strategies and how you can generate revenue from your consumers, it's really important that you're front of mind with them almost on a daily or multiple times a day, just to make sure that they're reminded that your brand is out there covering the news that they're interested in and that affects them and their community. We also love email because email users are highly engaged when they click through to your website. Outside of direct acquisition, email is one of the highest engaged acquisition channels that we have out there because consumers have opted in to receive this content, and when they click through, it's because it's something that they're interested in. Another thing that we like about email is as those users are driven to your website and are consuming more content, it's a great way to generate more ad revenue. Email users are more likely to subscribe to your website, so that's potential there. And they're also more likely to consume more content, which generates more programmatic or direct ad impressions. So when we look at, okay, what are some baseline minimums that all of our customers should reach for? When we work with customers, we like to see them get to a minimum of 10% of their unique users for email sign up. We want to see about 20% open rates at the minimum and a click-through rate about 25% of those opens. And so when we were building out our program, these were kind of the baseline standards that we were establishing to measure our success. And our hope is that all of our customers will exceed this. And I know some of you on the call might say, well, I have a 10% sign up rate or I have a 20% open rate. What we saw when we were looking at the data is a lot of our customers might be hitting one of these data points, but very few of them are hitting all three. And we really think that all three are very important to indicate the health of your email newsletter campaigns. So what are we actually implementing for our customers as part of this program? We've worked with one of our largest customers and one of the largest email service providers in the country to come up with an enhanced layout for email newsletters, something that's very clean, that clearly communicates what we want the user to engage with, has larger call to action buttons, something that's optimized for the current email environment where we have to consider dark mode and light mode and all the other ways that email might show up in a user's inbox, and something that feels personal and targeted to that consumer. So kind of the first phase is we've overhauled what we're pushing out as our default layout for email newsletters, and we built a few new blocks to take advantage of some of these best practices. In addition to these default layouts, we're also implementing a standard set of email campaigns that the minimum we want all of our customers to have. Most of our customers will have a daily headlines newsletter. It's something that they're already pushing out there. What we're going to do with that is we'll just migrate your existing daily headlines newsletter over to the new layout, but we'll take advantage of that same list and just start a new campaign from it. Breaking news or sending an individual news item is something that we also want to work with our customers on directly. It's really important that you're constantly reminding consumers of important news items that your company is creating. Whether you send those out as breaking or trending or topical, I think that's just semantics and what your newsroom feels comfortable communicating to your consumers. But it is important that you're constantly pushing out news items that you feel are impactful to your community and not just expecting them to get rolled into that daily headlines newsletter. One thing we've done is we've kind of split weather out from being at the bottom or a part of every other email campaign and creating a weather specific newsletter. What we found is that people really do like to get kind of a weather digest in their inbox, and those tend to have pretty decent open rates. They don't drive a lot of click-throughs, but they are driving brand awareness in that user's inbox. Another thing that we also feel is really important is to kind of send out a digest at the end of the week of like, here's the content that users really liked on our website. And that's something that is fairly simple to do. We've built blocks specifically to communicate what's trending or most popular on your website. And we want to make sure that we're getting that sent to users on the weekends at a time when they have more time to read content or dive into something they're more interested in. Sports is still another thing, especially when we talk about prep sports or local sports, that a lot of people really depend on their local media organizations to cover for them. And we want to make sure that we also split that out for those users who are specifically interested in that category as well. I'm going to go ahead and skip advertisement for now because I have another slide where we'll talk about that in greater detail. Obituaries, if you have obituaries, we know that not everybody has obituaries on the websites. Obituaries is another one where some of our customers are just rolling that into the bottom of their daily headlines newsletter. But people who are interested in obituaries are a very dedicated audience segment. We've seen across our customer base about 10% of a lot of our company's traffic comes directly to obituaries. And so this is a very important audience segment that we want to make sure that we're constantly engaging, and splitting obituaries out gives us more opens, is going to drive more traffic to the website. And we also don't want to forget about the other software applications, other content your company might be generating, calendar, events, classifieds, e-editions. It's also important to send that information out to consumers and remind them that there's other content besides articles or collections or videos that are on your website and that you want them to engage with. I mean, you're taking the time to build these pages, to create a way for consumers to add these calendar classified events. And it's a great way too, especially if you're upselling calendar or you've sold classifieds, to drive more value for those people that are paying you to upsell those things or to purchase the classifieds. So by default, we're going to roll out all of these campaigns. If you have campaigns above and beyond what we have on this slide. We're going to migrate those to the layout for you, our new layout. So you'll get all of your existing campaigns still, but they'll be in a more optimized layout that we talked about in the first slide. Another thing that we spend a lot of time focusing on is what does the consumer see when the email hits their inbox, right? This is just like on your website where you have a photo and a headline and a lead to communicate why the user should read the story. This is how we get that user to open the email. So one thing that we're doing is moving the campaign away from the subject line and moving that to the from line. So when it says, who's this email from? We're saying this is from the breaking news email or the daily headlines email from our publication. On the subject line, we've had this technology for a long time and a few of our customers have implemented it, but we're going to include the title of the first asset. So this is the most important story in the newsletter or that you've published that day for daily headlines that we want the user to read. And then we've also added some more blocks that allow us to add the lead for the first article or the description for the first article in the description line. So it just gives the user more information on why they might want to read that article. Especially sometimes headlines can be more condensed or abbreviated for just print purposes or something like that. Usually the description just provides a little bit of extra detail to get the user to click through. One thing that we've spent the last probably 12 to 18 months on is really trying to improve how users sign up for newsletters. A lot of our customers have rolled out with our kind of default implementation from 10 years ago, which was we'd put a sign up block in the right rail and that was kind of it. Well, as you know, with responsive design, that right rail kind of gets wrapped to the bottom of everything and nobody ever sees it. So we built the Promo Designer block to be able to put those offers front and center. And we've seen a lot of success getting users to sign up for newsletters, especially when we split the offers out from a long list of newsletters and target these to users who are interested in that specific newsletter. So what we'll do is we'll intersperse these offers throughout your website where we're most likely to acquire signups for that newsletter. So sports will be on sports, obits on obits, etc. And one of the benefits of Promo Designer is we can also leverage the IQ technology, so the data that we're collecting on this. So if we know a user is potentially interested in this topic, we can do a large pop-up sign-up offer for them. And if somebody's already signed up, we don't want that to pop up, so we'll just keep them out of that audience and nobody will see the pop-up if they've already signed up for this. And this is a great way to just rapidly add new users to your email newsletter list. Another thing that we're also doing is most of our customers don't have a default page that users can go to sign up for all their newsletters. The way they do that now is they have to find that right rail block, or they can go through like manage list and stuff through the user admin interface, which not a lot of users are very familiar with. So we're also going to implement just a default newsletter sign up page that kind of shows all of your newsletters. It gives the headlines, a good description on why a consumer would be interested in that newsletter, just to give users a place and a place for you to promote, hey, sign up for all of our newsletters, go to this page, and we can intersperse that throughout your site. Another thing, and I said I was going to put a pin in that advertisement template, is we want to work with our customers on how to generate some more revenue from their email newsletters. We know that we generate a lot of revenue by getting users to click through from your website, from your newsletters to your website. However, there isn't a reason that you're sending out this information to users that you can't generate some revenue from that. We launched the email programmatic program probably about 6 months ago as a way to add programmatic revenue to the email newsletters. It's a great way to try to generate some incremental revenue to offset the cost of a program like Email Reach. We also wanted to make sure, and so what we've done is we've redesigned the templates to take advantage of and optimize the programmatic ad layout. There'll be fewer ads, they'll be larger and cleaner and not really interfere with the content like they might have historically. And then another thing is on each email template, there's going to be at least one dedicated local ad spot for your team to sell, or if you already have existing campaigns sold, you'll be able to still fulfill those campaigns on all of the new email templates that we're going to be setting up for you. You'll have one spot that'll be directly below like the featured article, so it'll kind of be front and centered and probably the most premium spot that you can have. And then another thing we really want to work with customers on is selling much larger ad campaigns. When we've seen a lot of success by creating a dedicated deals or advertisement email and selling and sending those to consumers. On the right, you can see this is an email offer I just got this week to purchase a subscription to a newspaper. And I thought this is a really great example of how dynamic you can make these things, especially when you're not worried about constraining it into a smaller email ad layout where you're dedicating the entire email to communicating the offer. Another benefit to your subscribers is you can modify the headline of the email to communicate what the offer is as well and get their brand awareness out there and tie that to your company. So this is a great way for when we're working with our customers on how they should sell email advertising. We really encourage them to sell these very large dynamic campaigns. And that's something that we're doing kind of holistically is, for the smaller standard ad units, let us manage that from a programmatic standpoint. And then when you go sell local advertising, sell your local advertisers much larger dynamic ad positions. And so that's something we're not just doing in email, but a strategy we're implementing across town news, even on the web. Again, I wanted to reiterate kind of what our target performance was. And this is, the baseline of where we think we can get customers. We've worked with email acquisition, and at the minimum, we've been able to double everyone's existing newsletter signups just by implementing more targeted email acquisition strategies. And we know for certain that these we can get opens and click-throughs up to these percentage points through the tests that we've done with our larger customers by implementing these templates. Some of these numbers are small compared to what all of our other customers do. I mean, we've seen open rates as high as 30% plus. And so really what it does is just understanding your audience and what they're interested in and maybe refining some things to make sure that we hit these numbers. So in order to participate in this free program, you do have to use us as your email service provider. That's really the primary requirement. We can't guarantee that we can work with you with other ESPs. So the minimum that we're setting up for our time is you have to use Email Reach, Box Email Reach, and use Town News as your email service provider. We do think the program will perform better if you're in our email programmatic service. A lot of our customers already are, so that might not be an issue. But we're going to be sending out a lot more emails and we're going to get a lot more users signed up. And so we want to make sure that you're generating more revenue from this and it's not just potential cost increase. And then for getting users to sign up for newsletters, we've been really successful. The bigger, and I always say this, and it's kind of, the more annoying you can make the offer, the more in the user's face, the more in line with their vision, the more likely we are going to get them to sign up for that newsletter. However, we don't want to have a pop-up on every single page or showing up for users all the time. And that's really where the IQ Engage technology allows us to target specific users and to make sure that people who've already signed up for the newsletter don't see those pop-ups over and over again. So we do think it's much better if you're also in our IQ Engage program. Again, we have hundreds of customers in that program, so it's likely that you're in the IQ program of some sorts. If you have any questions, we'll definitely help you answer those on whether or not you're in IQ Engage. If you're not in IQ Engage, that's fine. We can still implement a more successful email acquisition strategy without IQ Engage. IQ Engage will just enhance it even further.
Well, thank you, Tim. And just to reiterate, how much does this service cost?
Yeah, so we're doing this for free. Just like you guys, what we know is when our customers use our software, they're more likely to continue using our software. When customers come to your website and are reminded about all that great reporting you're doing, they're much more likely to purchase a subscription and keep coming back. So we just, we're successful when you guys are successful, and that's why we decided that this was just too important not to roll out to everybody that we could.
Okay, we do have a few questions. Now would be a great time to type any questions you may have into the chat box. The first question is, will we make copies, pardon me, of this PowerPoint available so that they can be shared with the newsroom staffs? Yes, we will. We are recording the webinar. We will make the webinar recording available. It will be on our website by tomorrow. We will also include the PowerPoint, and we will send an email out to everybody when that is available. The second question: how are you personalizing emails if you're not capturing the first name on sign up? I didn't see that filled in the screenshot. Can you talk a little bit more about when personalization can happen and how that works?
Yeah, so when there's two different ways. Like when we have user data on that user, and they sign up as a user on your website, we do send that data to Constant Contact. We also have the option to capture first name and last name, and so we've implemented that with some other customers. We found that it doesn't generate too much friction by requesting that data. So that's something that we are implementing with our customers too, is capturing first name and last name in addition to the email address. We don't want to capture too much information, but we haven't seen huge detriment by asking for a little bit more.
Okay. When will rollout occur and how will we be notified?
Sure. So the way that we're doing this now is we're having, for all of our customers, we're having our inside sales team reach out to them and ask if they're interested in. If you know that you are interested in this program right now, you can contact customer support and they will send that ticket over to my team and we'll get you in the implementation queue. So it's free. There's no contract. So just reach out to customer support if you know you're interested in. Otherwise, our inside sales team will be reaching out to everyone we want to make sure that you know what's happening and that you're interested in this before we roll this out on your site. We know that this is going forward. If you sign up for Email Reach, this is what we're going to be implementing by default for customers. But for existing customers, we know we can't just go in there and modify your email templates. We would never do that.
The slide about one ad position per newsletter, is that so we have contracts already sold? How do the ad positions work?
Yeah, so we can obviously, if you're somebody that has sold a lot of campaigns or if you sold size specific ones, we can work with you on that. But let me go back. So if you can see on this slide, right below this main story, this is the ad position that we're giving for local campaigns. Since most of our customers may have sold like 2 or 3 ad positions in one email campaign, by implementing 10 campaigns and spreading those sends out across all those new campaigns and new users, we're sure that you'll be able to fulfill your existing requirements with fewer ad units per send. So, but we're willing to work with you to make sure that you're still fulfilling the requirements of any contracts you already sold.
Okay. Is the ability to create a custom subject line going away?
No, that ability is not going away. I mean, from our perspective, obviously, if you can target the subject line to a user or to a specific topic, that's really important. But when you're sending a daily headline newsletter, unless you're like custom adding that, writing a headline every single day, we think it's much better to implement pulling in the headline of the first article. However, if you're somebody that has a dedicated email person or team and you're going in and personalizing that, that's obviously much better. And so, we wouldn't want to interfere with you writing a custom headline every day for that.
Okay. Can you elaborate on the pop-ups for email registration? Some people don't like them. How do you target them so they don't become annoying?
Right. So what we do is we identify potential people who are interested in this specific newsletter or that are likely to subscribe to a newsletter and only show those pop-ups to those users. If somebody has seen this pop-up a certain number of times, so if we know, we've showed this to them, say 3, 4, 5 times, and they've not signed up, we'll stop showing it to them. Or if somebody signs up for that newsletter, we'll stop showing it to them.
Okay. Is it possible to use this service? Can we sell email to specific customers for the benefit of their businesses?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why you couldn't do that. Obviously, when you're getting users to sign up, you have to communicate what that newsletter is to be in compliance with federal law. And so if you're saying that this is like if you know that you're selling a specific campaign for a customer, you would probably need to acquire that list specific to that campaign. However, if you had a featured business newsletter or advertisement or deals newsletters that users knew what they were signing up for, you could maybe leverage that. So, I mean, there's ways to make sure that you're in compliance, but give you kind of a more broader ability to sell this to more than one person.
Okay.
Or not have to reacquire users each time.
Will data collected be available to include in our own data pool?
So I guess without more specifics on that, obviously all the data that we're collecting goes into a DMP. And if you have your own data, we have ways for you to extract that data if you're interested in it. Or if you have your own track data collection pixels on the website, they'll be collected just like anything else. So I guess, yeah, without more specifics, you can email me tturner@townnews.com with more specifics on that question, and then I can maybe answer it. It's kind of hard without the details.
Okay. Our email database is on constant contact through Town News. Is that what you mean by Block's email system?
Yes. So we call that Block's email reach. What we're doing is all of our customers have access to our templates for email and can scrape them with other email service providers. But yes, if you bought the constant contact service through Town News, which we call Block's email reach, that's what we mean by us being your email service provider.
Yeah, that's our integrated system.
Yes.
Yeah. We offer a 3-day pass on our website. Is there an email option to send to past customers, which is different from the email sent to regular subscribers?
Yeah, right now it's a little bit more difficult to manage those lists because of the way we integrate with Constant Contact. We can upload a list of past subscribers, or we can work with you to get that list uploaded. Depending on how frequently you need to update it, it might be more complicated because we'd have to add each new person to that list manually. And we're working on a new system that will allow us to tag or create specific newsletters for those people. But right now, you can do that, but it's more complicated to manage that list.
Let's see. Another question about the pop-ups for subscriptions. Wondering, so they already have IQ Engage, and the pop-ups are applied to a particular audience who is not signed up for newsletters, but they're still seeing problems with frequency. Is it possible to control the frequency with which those pop-ups appear?
Yeah, so the pop-ups themselves have the ability to set how frequently they will show up generically. So you can set it up to show every 24 hours, every 30 days, once, all time or for a year, kind of whatever you want that to be in general. Obviously, if users do things to manipulate our ability to collect data or to pull their data from them, so if they're doing ad blockers or incognito mode or things like that, it affects our ability to identify them as users. So you could have more of a backup mechanism where it might only show up once a month or once every, once a year for users like that.
Okay. Again, can we get this training deck to explain changes to managers? Yes, we will be sending out the deck and the recording of the webinar to everyone who is on our email list. Will the optimized templates support HTML-based blocks?
No, I mean, those we only support. So I guess what I'll say is email is kind of a pain when it comes to a development standpoint. Everything has to be like inline HTML. So we have to rewrite all of our blocks to support that. And so we don't give customers a lot of leeway to do custom HTML because you can really break things. if there's something specific you're trying to do, you can always kind of reach out through support, and we can work with you through our normal feature request or development process for that. It's just email is very particular, and it's really easy to break it. So.
Okay, another question about IQ Engage. Is it possible using IQ Engage to recognize whether visitors to our website, whether a visitor is a paid subscriber or a non-subscriber, so that we can change the pop-ups, for example?
Yeah, so there are several behaviors that we track related to subscription. Anytime somebody logs into a subscription service, we're passing in that specific subscription service to IQ. So we're tracking that data and can take action based on the individual service or all subscribers. Also, when somebody purchases a subscription, we pass a behavior. So if they purchase a subscription and then never log into the subscription for some reason, we can also still target those users.
Okay. What do you recommend for cleaning up lists? Is that something that we should consider to help us improve our open rates in addition to these other things?
Yeah, so there are several features that our goal for list cleanup and management is we want to implement the strategy first and then circle back to teams in about 3 to 6 months once this has had time to run, to then help them run some list cleanup and implement list cleanup best practices that Constant Contact is available in their technology. So list cleanup is a part of this, but it'll be like a second phase, just because we don't want to kind of completely obliterate all of your sends before we have more data on those users.
Okay. Is there any feature to promote podcasts or audio news products in the newsletters?
So, I think that's a good question. Obviously you would have to probably drive them back to the webpage or wherever that podcast is being hosted. And I don't see any reason why we couldn't create an email campaign that promoted your podcast. So it would just be specific to you. So if you're going to ask us to optimize your templates, or if we reach out to you and we end up optimizing your templates, just let us know about that kind of specific thing you want to do. We can try to set something up for you.
Okay. I have email reach. We have sold local ads on our 2 regular newsletters, Daily Headlines and Breaking News. The ads presently are served through Block's Ad Manager. When will this functionality be moved to Google Ad Manager?
So we have the ability to serve ads through Google Ad Manager or through Block's Ad Manager, and we'll work with you whichever way you're doing. If you want to start running your local campaigns through Google Ad Manager, you should reach out to customer support, and we'll kind of work through those channels to get you trained and set up to serve your ads through Google Ad Manager.
Okay. It looks like that is it for current questions. If anyone has any questions, again, feel free to type them in as I go through our closing spiel here. Thank you, Tim. This is a really great program. Please. You can reach out to your salesperson to get started. We will also be discussing this at the upcoming mega conference. So anyone who wants to learn more about this, please stop by our booth at the mega conference in Fort Worth, Texas. Tim will also be presenting on the solutions stage at the mega conference. He'll be talking about our new IQ Audience Plus program that we're rolling out. Documentation is available at help.blockcms.com. Support is available at 800-293-9576 or support.townnews.com. The partner community is a great place to swap ideas with other Town News customers, and that's at community.townnews.com. And our service status of all of our systems and services is available at townnews.status.io. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. We ourselves offer a variety of newsletters that you can sign up for, and those are available if you go to the website, click News, and in the right rail there, which I know we're gonna have to address, but in the right rail we offer a variety of newsletters that you can sign up for easily. Again, please come see us at the mega conference if you're going to be there. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like we're in good shape on questions. So thanks again, Tim, and please contact your sales representative to get started with the email optimization service, and we will talk to everyone again next month, unless we see you at the mega conference. Bye now.